Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest video in my ongoing review series for Amazon's Wheel of Time show. We're going to be reviewing episode 7 today. If this is your first time tuning in, this is not a spoiler-free review. This is me talking about the books, it's talking about the show. I'm spoiling all sorts of stuff. So if you haven't watched the episode and you don't know anything about the books, fair warning, you should probably stay away from this video. But if you're part of my community, most of you have read the books, and I think a lot of you are watching the show, so it should be fair game. But again, if you haven't watched the episode, you might want to wait off on this a little bit. So fair warning again. If you've watched the previous episodes, you know that I'm not a book purist. I've gone into this show very much with the understanding that this is an adaptation, and so I've been, able to sort of disconnect myself from my passion for the books and say, hey, this is just another revolution of the wheel. I like the way Brandon Sanderson put it in his Reddit review of the first episode. And so I'm kind of going into this with that in mind. Uh, this so far has been, in my opinion, the best episode of the series so far. Like they just keep getting better. And my prediction, which I made a couple episodes back, excuse me, was that they were going to make the reveal of the Dragon Reborn towards the end of this season, and I was almost spot on. It wasn't the last thing that they did, because obviously we did find out in episode 7 who the Dragon Reborn is, and episode 8 is going to be the confrontation at the Eye of the World, which is not quite how it happened in the books, but who cares, because this is a different spinning of tales. Um, anyway, before we get into the full review here, if this is your first time here watching this, do me a favor. If you like the episode, please give a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get updates for all the future content that I do here on YouTube. I do lots of other things on this channel, so make sure you check out everything below. We've got different playlists set up. EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Star Wars Old Republic, the Monday Musings show, book reviews, show reviews, cooking videos from the Lotro Cooking in Real Life series, Lord of the Rings Online videos, lots of different things. And coming up in the new year, we've got a whole bunch of new stuff planned, a bunch of point and click adventure game videos and beyond. So if that's the kind of stuff that you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Don't forget you can join our Discord community below. And if you want to know more about what I'm working on with my wife and my brother on the Weave in the Void project, you can go over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/wandering hermits, and check out all that information. Without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode. Again, fair warning for everybody. Spoilers ahead. You have been warned, so let's dive in from here. This episode started off, and Chris again has never read the books. I was so excited with the beginning of this episode, the intro to this episode, because we see Rand's mother. We see a spear maiden kicking ass and taking names, even while in the throes of childbirth. And it sets the stage for how amazing the Ale are as warriors. It also is something that I complained about early on because I was like, why aren't we getting told this story in the first episode? Now, this is what this is where we get into having to appreciate what Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings and how him and Fran and I forget the other lady who worked on the screenplays with them. Um, they took elements from all three books and sort of weaved them around and mixed and matched them. Put things from the third book in the first movie, from the first book into the third movie, from the second book into the first and third, so on and so forth. And it worked out really, really well. The Lord of the Rings adaptation is what's the only adaptation we've gotten to date that is extremely beloved and also as close as you can get. Obviously they made some changes, but it was great. So they've done that here. We're weaving and mixing things in from different places. So I was like a little kid on the couch, and Chris actually had to pause it and say, "Tim, can you take it down a notch? I'm trying to trying to enjoy this." I was like, "I'm so sorry," but I was really geeking out over the intro to this episode. And of course, it fades to black right before the credits hit, right before the opening sequence starts, and you know that that's Rand's father, and just standing over her with with the helmet on, but you knew who it was because the heron marked sword, and so there's some amazing foreshadowing here for book lovers, and so I was really happy to see that, and as we got deeper into the episode, um, as the reveal happens and Rand understands that he is probably the Dragon Reborn, the reveal was done in such a way where we flash back to Rand helping his father from the opening episode when he got bit or stabbed, or forget what happened, but the Trolloc got him and he was burning up with a fever, and Rand was rushing him down the mountain to try to get to the healers, and of course Moraine healed him in the village. But that whole sequence through the woods, and his dad's burning up with fever, and he's talking about, finding the woman with the baby on the slopes of Dragon Mount 20 years ago, and this begins to combine with some other things that have happened which make Rand realize that he is the Dragon Reborn. Now, those of us who have read the books, we knew Rand was the Dragon Reborn. There was a part of me that, in the back of my mind, was like fingers crossed, going, please, please, please don't retcon this. Please don't make the Dragon Reborn someone else. Please don't retcon this. I don't think you would, because I know that the showrunners love the books, but there was a part of me, because they've retconned some other stuff. Yeah, I was like, please don't. And they didn't, so kudos. I think the coolest thing for me was that just whole, because I've complained a lot about why didn't we get some of that backstory in episode 1. And of course we didn't, because part of the thing they wanted to do with this show adaptation was they've spun this myth that it could be any of the 5 from the 2 rivers, right? Really any of the 4, but they include Nynaeve in there because, hey, she's powerful even though she's a little too old, but she's super powerful, so that has to mean something. So you know they didn't want to reveal that in episode 1, so that's part of their mystery for people who have never read the books before. And I get it. I totally get it. So it paid off in spades, and I was really happy to see it when it finally paid off, because I was like, yes, that's what I was waiting for, was a little bit of backstory, because now we know why Rand, when they're coming up to Tarvalon in episode 5, maybe it was, or 4 or 5, and he sees Dragon Mountain, he goes, I feel like I've seen that before, like something. And now we know why, because not only was he the Dragon Reborn in the previous life, but also he was born on the slopes of that mountain. So, you know, lots of stuff coming into play here. I love the fact that when they're in the ways, you initially think that when the Trolloc jumps out and and you think that Egwene is the one who uses the one power out of fear to throw the Trolloc off the bridge, and then the Black Wind comes, right? And as the episode unfolds and Rand starts to realize who he is, he's remembering, and he's like, oh, that was actually me who channeled to protect her. And oh, remember that door that I bashed down? I used the one power there as well. And so he realizes then that, oh, I might actually be the Dragon Reborn. And this is when we get into, they introduced Min in this episode. And from the books, she is a fairly significant secondary character, so I hope that they're going to give her more screen time as we get into the second episode or second season and beyond. But we'll see. In the meantime, we met Min. We got a glimpse of what she can do. We also got a glimpse, and this is important in my mind. This is important because we get a glimpse of who Egwene is, because Min sees what she sees. And I think that that's a really cool, more foreshadowing going on. And again, knowing who she becomes later on in the series, like it's pretty cool the way this all panned out. So I'm really excited to see some of this stuff starting to come into play, and hopefully we get more of this as the show develops into season 2 and season 3. Now, for me, the big thing was getting to the fact that Rand was the Dragon Reborn. That was the big reveal of the show, and everything was kind of leading up to that. We got to see a Spear Maiden in action. We got to see Rand's father, having that recollection. Rand realizing, oh, I am the Dragon Reborn, confirming that with Min, then confirming it to Moraine, and then like going off with Moraine to face the Dark One and leaving everybody else behind, which is how the episode leaves you as a cliffhanger, so to speak. But we also, and they've definitely accelerated this quite a bit, because we're jumping around between like books 1, 2, and 3, and now we're back to book 1, and so we're all over the map here, but we've accelerated the romance between Nynaeve and Lan, and that pays off in this episode, in the sense that they sleep together, and it's kind of just, that's the one thing I still don't like about the show, but I understand because of the limitations of budgets and not having an unlimited budget and having to cram as much as possible into an 8 episode season. So everything is accelerated. All the character arcs are accelerated, all of the storylines are accelerated, and this romance was extremely accelerated. Because I feel like, yeah, it's been a few months, they've been on the road, but also they haven't ever shown, in the show at least, you know, more than, oh, they sat around a campfire and kind of, yeah, there's an unspoken attraction, but it's never gone beyond that. And so it's like there's all these references being made to, oh, Lan, she likes you, and Lan's like, yeah, and I like her, and but we never actually see them flirting or any of that sort of stuff. And then suddenly it's just like, hey, let's sleep together. Okay, I mean, cool. At least we know they're together now. That is a very important plot element to the overall storyline of who those characters are. But again, it's one of those things where it's so accelerated. There's a part of me that really wishes we had more time to see that develop. But it's like everything else, we just have to roll with it and say this is another revolution of the wheel. Overall, my favorite episode of the series so far. Obviously, we have one more episode to go. Um, I just love the fact that we finally got to see Rand's mother. We got to see a Spear Maiden in action. We got to see more backstory with his father, and that background for me was very important because of all the little clues we've had throughout the season of Rand. Oh, I've seen the mountain before, and where did my father get the sword, and why do I have red hair, and all of these things. And so all of that coming into play now, very satisfying for me. I can't wait to see what the final episode has in store for us. I'm still concerned and slightly upset about Matt just being abandoned. Hopefully they're gonna, I know they're gonna explain it in season 2, but we have to wait for that. So in the meantime, it is what it is. Um, Let me know what you guys think about this. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to drop a comment below if you have comments on the show or the books. And of course, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates on all the future content that's here. And hopefully, you all tune in for the next episode, which will be next week, sometime after we watch the season finale. I'm also watching, Chris and I started watching The Witcher. Yesterday, season 2, so I'll have a review of The Witcher. I'm not going to do episodic reviews of The Witcher, though. I'm going to do an overall review of The Witcher. I also need to finish up Foundation and do a review on that show as a whole. So stick around and stay tuned for all that stuff. I need more coffee and I gotta go for a run. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time.